Command has been given. Crank him up.
Let's go.
When I say I don't know, I don't know.
Let's go, baby.
Now, the Morning Drive.
Buckle up, everybody. A little bit of this and a little bit of that.
It's a game changer.
I listen to you guys every single day on my way to work.
Well, again, I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on the radio.
You guys are amazing.
What are you doing over there?
I'm going to the top.
The Morning Drive with Mike Bagley and Pete Pistone.
To the bat balls.
Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90, live and on the air for this Monday morning, March 20th, 2023. Mike Bagley here in Del Marvel, Studio 1D. We've got Pistol Pete Pistone in the Paisan Palace in Chicago. We've got Davey and Melvin in Studio 134 of the Beltway Bureau at our nation's capital. We welcome each and every one of you to this Monday morning, a Monday morning that features a conversation about the Ambetter Health 400 at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. And at day's end yesterday, it was Joey Logano getting his first win at AMS.
From Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Drivers, start your engine.
Crank him up, gang. Crank him up.
Things are about to warm up in Hotlanta. The car's coming down to the start-finish line, and the green flag is out. In the Ambetter Health 400, Joey Logano is gone from the outside, drops down to the inside, right in front of Ryan Blaney.
Trouble off turn two, sliding to the outside, then down to the inside, tagging the inside wall. Appears to be the car of Bubba Wallace.
Big fight for the stage one win, but they come back to the line. It belongs to Joey Logano.
With a four-tire change, Kyle Busch up 6 spots. He will lead the field off of pit lane, followed by Brad Keselowski, Ryan Blaney, Austin Cindric. Joey Logano goes from 1st to 5th.
Joey Logano led all of stage one, trying to take the lead back here in stage two, but Kyle Busch hangs on to it. In line behind him, it's Blaney Keselowski.
Oops. For Logano, it did not work. However, it may work for Ryan Blaney as he swings underneath and around Kyle Busch to take the lead.
Also problems for Ryan Preece in that 41 out there. He's received a penalty in this race, and that car sounds really sick as it comes by our broadcast position.
Looks like Ryan Blaney got a penalty, just served a pass-through. That one is going to leave a mark.
Especially when you've already dropped 2 laps under this way that they're making you take the green flag pit stop.
We sped too fast, section 2. We will have a pass-through. 20 back. Oh, my gosh.
Reddick racing 3 wide for the stage win.
Austin Cindric trying to go around Joey Logano to win the stage. It's Cindric. 3 wide at the start-finish line. At the end of stage number 2, Austin Cindric will win it. No tires for Eric Almirola. He jumps up 17 positions to lead the field off of pit lane.
Don't look now, but the Melon Man is on the move. Ross Chastain has picked up 22 spots since this race restarted, and we got stage 3 underway. Denny Hamlin continues to lead. Harvick, nose to tail with Denny Hamlin over there side by side with Hamlin. They battle for the lead.
Harvick knew that Ross Chastain was moving on the bottom, so he dropped down right in front of Ross, and Chastain has now pushed Harvick to the race lead. And Harvick gets sideways. He's spinning off turn 2. 3, 4 cars involved. The big one happens off turn 2 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
A host of cars involved. Chris Buescher gets a lot of damage on his number 17 as he spins down to the inside of the racetrack.
Yeah, he just got me loose. Yeah, seen that. Yeah, he knocked it out of you right when he shouldn't have. No, sir. I didn't touch him.
Trouble along the front stretch. Kyle Larson gets involved. He gets spun into the fence, and it looks for the most part like it's going to be about a 2-car accident. Eric Almirola also involved.
That accident triggered when Eric Almirola lost control, slammed the safer barrier at the exit of turn number 4. Keselowski leading them to the green flag. He gets a push from Tyler Reddick, but Bowman draws alongside on the outside.
Absolute dead heat into turn number 1. Keselowski now gets some help from Tyler Reddick, and he'll take it the second spot. Joey Logano's on that inside lane. He'll push Reddick down the back straightaway.
Battle for the lead in turn 3, Pat.
Yeah, here comes Logano on the bottom. He is going to get around Brad Keselowski this time. Keselowski relegated to the outside, back to the stripe. With a narrow racetrack, there's really no place to go. Nobody is willing to try to make it 3 wide. Keselowski now gets a little bit of a wrap from Logano. Joey draws even. Logano right on the quarter panel of Keselowski. Side by side now, down the backstretch. Logano on the bottom, Keselowski to the outside. They stay door handle to door handle. Logano works the bottom of the racetrack, and it's a dead heat off 4.
Keselowski slams the door to the inside. The white flag's out. Bell goes outside. Keselowski makes a block again.
Has Bad Brad got another 1.5 miles in the tank? Here comes Logano. He gets to the back bumper of Keselowski. Where did he come from? And here comes Corey LaJoie. He'll race his way to 3rd. Logano is racing his way out next to the wall, side by side with Brad Keselowski. This is for the win as they dive into turn 3. Logano is out front. Can he hold off Keselowski? This is Logano leading.
Joey Logano leads off of turn 4, and Joey Logano will win the Ambetter Health 400 by 2 car lengths.
He got clamped. Run's going to come on the top here on exit. You're all clear. Checkered flag. Hell yeah. Good job. All right, baby. Woo! Woo! Just couldn't stop it, man. Too much. Good job today, guys. Thank you. Sorry, couldn't stop it. Tried. Good man, cuz. Hell yeah! What a car, guys. Freaking animal of a car. Awesome. Yes! Atlanta! Good job, guys. Great job, Coleman. Joey, I told you we were going to come win this thing today.
That's how it sounded yesterday at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Ambetter Health 400, won by Joey Logano. Used to race Legends cars at the old AMS, had dreams of hauling it off into turn number 1, and, well, Petey, he did exactly that yesterday on multiple occasions, and, well, next thing you know, he's hauling it off into victory lane.
Well, he dominated the race. When you look at the box score, he led 140 laps, but you heard there on the PRN call, it came down to the last lap. He needed to make a move there. He and Brad Keselowski, what a duel there at the end of that race yesterday. And at the end of it all, the Chevrolet train is stopped. They finally are not in victory lane, and a Ford is, and it's Joey Logano behind the wheel there in a really thrilling race on Sunday afternoon.
So general takeaway from the race, obviously Sunday's race, stark difference between that race and the 2 races on Saturday. While it had contact in Sunday's race, nothing like we got in the Xfinity and Truck Series races. But I thought the ending, I was holding my breath. I was waiting for the big one to happen coming to the checkered flag, and it never did.
No, the race yesterday for the Cup Series, and you're right, it couldn't be more different than either of the 2 races that we saw, and I use air quotes around races, and some of what I saw on Saturday couldn't have been more different. Yes, there were times where they were just kind of making laps there. You heard some of the in-car radio, and you get that at a track that now is very much a drafting racetrack, not quite Daytona and Talladega, but elements of those kinds of racetracks. But at the end, and you saw just the speed. I mean, you've talked about this before because you've been down there. You got the sense of speed yesterday, I thought, on the telecast there, and them being able to move around. You know what's funny, Mike? We talk about this for so long, about people think, well, when you go to these, super speedways, it's just a crapshoot. Well, there's an element to that, but how many times have we said there's a skill set and a talent? And how many years have we said Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski were right at the top of the list of having the talent to do so? You saw that on display yesterday. And I know Joey won the race, and good for him, but boy, if you're a Brad Keselowski fan and a Roush Fenway Keselowski fan, you got to feel pretty good about what Brad did yesterday. I was really thinking we were going to be talking about Brad in victory lane here today. That's how good that 6-car was yesterday.
So close yesterday, but yet so far away. It was that move that happened going into 1 and coming out of 2 when Joey got the run, compliments of the front bumper of Corey LaJoie to get him up there, and he swung it to the high side, and then not only Joey Logano, I think, needs to be sending fruit baskets to the LaJoie household and the Bell household, because Bell gave him the punt of a lifetime going into 3 on the white flag lap.
He really did. I mean, and you'll hear Joey talk about it a little later. It did propel him to what he needed to do. I thought, and, tire wear was part of what we saw yesterday, because you had a very, long run at the end of the race, and you could see some of the tire giving up a little bit. And I thought the outside line was really going to be the one that was going to get together, form up the way they needed to and have enough energy to get by the outside line. And a couple times I thought that Logano got, sort of hung out to dry there, but he was able to maneuver his car back in. And, to your point, when you get some help like he did, again, not exactly Daytona and Talladega, but you still need some of that assistance. He did it perfectly. perfectly yesterday. And again, you listen to the spotter from Coleman Presley and all of that. It just works magnificently with those guys. It really is a sort of an art form, and it was a joy to listen to and a lot of fun to watch. I thought the end of that race yesterday was, in my opinion, the best racing we've seen all year.
Give us a couple of other things that stood out to you in yesterday's Cup race. We'll get to the Xfinity and the truck race later in the show, but what about yesterday? Anything else stick out?
Well, I think two things, two guys, and we'll get to that a little later too, but how do you just not talk about Corey LaJoie? This has got to be Corey's favorite racetrack. Was in the mix again. You know, you and I talked about this on Friday. We both said, could he capture lightning in a bottle again at Atlanta Motor Speedway? Well, he did. He was right near the front, and if you took the top 5 finish at plus 350 that we talked about on Fantasy Racing Preview yesterday, salute, because Corey LaJoie delivered with a top 5 finish. How about Tyler Reddick? Talked a lot about this year, what's going on with 2311 Racing. Now, Bubba Wallace was the first caution of the day, so not a good day for that side of that organization. But Tyler Reddick was right up there. And Tyler, not feeling well at the beginning of the race. John Hunter Nemechek was in that race car as we were doing the pre-race show here and getting ready for the PRN broadcast, and I didn't know for sure if Tyler was going to make it. Well, he did. And I'll tell you, that 45 car was strong yesterday, Mike. He was right in that mix there and mixing it up as well. So there were some guys, and it wasn't one of those, as I said, it wasn't one of those days where, you know, you just get collected up in a giant accident. We had a couple of accidents yesterday, but guys at the front stayed at the front. And I thought the skill and talent we saw from some drivers was really good yesterday. And it was fun to watch and good finishes for a couple of guys like Reddick and LaJoie on Sunday afternoon.
Couple of performances that stood out to me yesterday. Number one, Ryan Blaney was one of the very few, and we'll get to this later on, that got dinged for pit road speeding. There are a total of 5 pit road speeding penalties all weekend. Well, Ryan Blaney got one of them, got as much as 3 laps down at one point, and was able to get it back, and was able to finish in the 7th spot, led 5 laps. Ryan Blaney, I thought, was doomed at the end of that race, or towards the middle stages, the end of the race, whatever, but got himself back into some sort of territory fighting for the win, just couldn't get up there and crack the top 5 at day's end.
Yeah, well, and that is an interesting point, because I felt like, based on everybody that we talked to, including the guy that won the race, Joey Logano, there was going to be a proliferation of pit road speeding penalties. We didn't get it. Ryan, unfortunately, was one of those, and he did come back. You look at the bottom of the standings, and the interesting couple of guys there that I thought could have been in the mix. Obviously, William Byron, who's trying to have a three-peat and win 3 races in a row and go back-to-back there. Didn't work out for him. Kevin Harvick, we know, got in that incident there, and listen, I watched the replay 100 times. Ross Chastain did not make contact with Kevin Harvick. To me, it was one of those deals where Kevin and Ross were lined up together. I felt like Ross in the air got a little bit, jumbled up there, and Kevin unfortunately lost control of his race car. He got crashed out. He had a good car. And Kyle Larson and Eric Almirola. I mean, Eric Almirola having a tire go down right in front of Kyle Larson, and those two guys getting knocked out. Not of their own doing, but there were 4 guys there at the bottom, Baggy, that I thought if they didn't have those issues, you probably would have seen them at front, because they had very good race cars yesterday as well.
Another one that I'll draw attention to, because we talked about this going into the race last week, about how for some, Legacy Motor Club has been flat.
Yep.
Well, what about Eric Jones, number 1, ramrodding his way into 8th on the lap? I don't know if you've seen the video or not, but my man just goes charging right up the middle, able to get a top 10 finish, and Noah Gragson made it to the end, and he finished in 12th. All in all, compared to the way the first 4 race weekends have played out, that was a good day yesterday for Legacy Motor Club.
That's the day that team needed from top to bottom. You're right. Eric Jones came from the 28th starting spot to get that top 10 finish there. And as you mentioned, Noah all the way from 22nd to finish 12th. So they needed that day. They got that day. Good for them. And the last guy I mentioned, the rookie, the other rookie. We just talked about Noah Gragson. Ty Gibbs. He was another guy in that 54 car. He was right up there at the front at the end of that race and trying to find ways to get out of that little box everybody was in there when they were so packed together. But that was a good run for Ty Gibbs in the 54 at Joe Gibbs Racing on Sunday as well in Atlanta.
So many conversations to be had over the next day or two about the Ambetter Health 400. When we come back, you'll hear from the top finishers in yesterday's NASCAR Cup Series race. Bottom of the hour, we'll give you headline check number 1, and then we'll get into checkered flags and black flags from the Ambetter Health 400 race weekend. Coming up, we will, around 8:30 this morning, we'll recap our fantasy teams, our picks, our prop bets. Also, the calendar coming up at 8:50. Adam Alexander of NASCAR on Fox will join us at 9. Around 9:20, 9:30ish, we'll recap the Truck and Xfinity Series races at Atlanta from this past weekend. And then in the fourth and final hour, you'll hear from Nicole Krieger, Executive Director of the NASCAR Foundation. They have some pretty cool stuff coming up over the next couple of months, culminating with NASCAR Day in mid-May. Nicole will join us and tell us what's afoot over at the NASCAR Foundation. You can reach out and communicate with us on the phones today at 866-PIT-LANE, and also, as always, on Twitter at SiriusXM NASCAR, hashtag TMD NASCAR.